You guys still ready?
Yeah.
You guys still ready? Who said yes? Close? Okay, so let's think about this example. So block is hard to understand. We're gonna try it several times and try to explain it multiple different ways, but block can be hard to wrap your mind around. Let's say I've got this pill that I think is gonna reduce pain, but I think that it might react differently in males and females. If I completely randomize, let's say this is my sample right here. If I completely randomize, I'm like, okay, I'm going to put your names in the hat, half of you get the pill, half of you don't. Is it possible that I'll end up with like all males in one group? It's unlikely, but it's possible, right? Let's take that a step further. If that group shows reduced pain from my pill, does that mean that it's necessarily going to reduce everyone's pain? Or maybe it just works in males? It might just work in males, right? So there's this lurking variable, in this case gender, that I think might be affecting things. And one thing you can do with that is to block based on that. So blocking would be, so there's this idea, some people want to like level the groups, where I want to put like half the males, and so each group had like half the males, and each group had half the females. That's a technique, that's not block. Block would be like, I don't want to level the playing field, I want to make two totally separate playing fields. So I want to take all the males, half of them will get the pill, half of them won't. All the females in a separate experiment, half will get the pill, half of them won't. So if you're blocking, you're doing like two totally separate deals. And within each block, all the subjects should be similar. So all the males will be together and all the females will be together. Yeah?
In that case, would it be 4 blocks or 2 blocks?
It'd be 2 blocks, but you'll end up with 4 things happening. So when I diagram it out, so let me diagram it, because I think that'll help you see also. So if I diagram it, you've got your subjects, which I don't even tell you how many there were, but that's fine. And before I even do the experiment, I'm going to go, okay, males go up here, females go down here, and I'm blocking based on gender, and then I'm going to do 2 totally separate experiments. So I've got my male group, half of them are going to get the pain-reducing pill, half of them will get a placebo. I've got my female group, half of them will get the pain-reducing pill, or what I think is the pain-reducing pill, half of them will get the placebo. At the very end, I'll be able to compare all of that. So half get the pill, half get the placebo. So you're basically just running 2 experiments. Which I think at this point you're probably like, this isn't that hard, what's the big deal? It does get trickier though. So because I think gender might matter, they tell me to block on gender. I do 2 separate experiments with all the males in one, all the females in the other, and at the very ends, I would just compare, what I do in context, right? So I'd say like compare pain among all groups. I will write that out in words in a second, because remember the diagram doesn't count. It doesn't like get you credit, just the words do. Are there questions on that setup at all? This is kind of an easier example. I don't think this is anything crazy confusing, but what would be an advantage to this? Why would this be beneficial? Yeah. So I might get more information, right? If I had just done, yes, multiple results is a good way to say it. If I had just split people into groups, let's say it's true that it helps females but not males. This pill is really effective for reducing pain in females but not males. If I had just split up the two groups randomly, would I have known that? I wouldn't have gotten that. So this can give you more information. What's the downside? Why wouldn't you do this? Yeah, it's just more annoying, which in the real world is time and money. So that's the diagram. If I had to write it on words, that's what I would write. So I'll give you a second to write that. So you're telling the person, I'm going to use a black design. So gender's the black, and then it's two separate deals. You just I'm doing two separate experiments. And then you describe what you would do in each one the same way we describe the randomized, just two separate ones. Again, think about the wording while you're writing it. Make sure it makes sense to you. So you have questions on what I'm writing, you'll just copy it down without thinking. That's missing an opportunity to put it into your brain. Questions on what I wrote, why I wrote it, something I might be missing, something you think is weird. This class needs like a class clown. You want to be the class clown?
You kind of have Samantha with her sarcastic asshole vibe.
We need someone to talk. It's not really what I mean, but it was good. How was yours? I didn't mean that kind of time.
Yeah, it's about side party.
You can freeze dry it. That would mean that it wasn't dry.
I feel like almost everyone's paying attention, but it's easier for me to feel that way when I'm getting questions and stuff, and you guys just kind of stare at me, and that's okay. That's just what it is. But all right, questions on this wording anywhere? Is this okay? Are we good? Are we done copying?
Yep.
Someone say no.
I speak for all. So
All right, let's say this example here. So read through that. So basically, I think integrated math might help smarter kids more than not as smart kids, or it might help not as smart kids more than smart kids. I'm not really sure which, but I think it's different. So I think that a lurking variable there is your intelligence coming into the class. So I'm going to block based on that. So try to diagram that experiment. I'm blocking based on PSAT. You want the subjects within each block to be similar. You want the subjects within each block to be similar. The subjects within each block to be similar. You're not trying to level the playing field. You're making two separate playing fields. So I've got my subjects, which in this case would be like all the juniors, I guess. And then I would block based on their PSAT. So I would go like above average up here, and average or below down here. And then it's just like two separate experiments. In each one, half will take integrated math, and half will not take integrated math. And then at the ends, I compare, so put it in context, so I would compare SAT scores. So, two advantages. Well, first of all, questions on my diagram? My diagram good? Solid? Two advantages. If I randomly mixed it up, I wouldn't be able to, well, I guess it's just kind of the same advantage. I might get more information here. I might find out, if I randomly mix it up, I might not find this out. But with this method, I might find out that integrated math is like awesome for people that are below average. It is useless for above average. Or the other way around. It might be awesome for people that are already good at math and might be useless for people that aren't. But if I had just randomized it, I wouldn't have gotten that information. So this is a potential source of more information. Questions on the diagram? Try to write it out in words. So describe it, because that doesn't get you points, right? That's just kind of helping organize your thought process. So try to write it in words. And there's mine, so you can check, kind of compare. With yours, again, I'm not like the greatest worder. People were like correcting my grammar and stuff last block. Like I'm not. My writing is not any better or worse than, probably worse than some of you. But you should be saying the same ideas that I'm saying. Block based on PSAT, split it up above average and below average. Put it in a hat, mix it up. Like you got to be saying all that stuff. I'm writing some down here. Just ignore this for right now. I'll explain it in a second. Don't worry about the bottom part yet. Questions on the wording on top here? How many had what you feel like is a similar wording? Okay, I think I can help with on that. Okay, so now I want to talk about this one. This is just an example of I'm going to have you try to choose the way to block it. So this is the front of the classroom in this example. In the back, there's windows, it's really loud, and there's like cool stuff going on out there. So these students are very easily distracted, 1 through 6. You guys heard of like the cone of success in the classrooms? So yeah, this is just a theory. I don't know how accurate it is, but they say if you take like the front corner and the front corner, and you draw like a triangle to the back middle, the people within that triangle do significantly better than the people not in that triangle. Like if you let students choose their own seats, the more serious students in this theory will sit in this triangle, and the people that are less serious will sit out. I'm not making any judgments, I'm just giving you a theory. Anyway, so these people would be like much more easily distracted because there's just stuff going on. They're in the back, there's a window there, there's noise. These people are in the front. But I'm not trying to do an experiment on that. I want to do an experiment. I want to see if teaching with technology works better or teaching with like old school lecture, paper and pencil. So half the students are going to do all their work on the computer, half the students are going to do it more like paper, pencil, traditional style. But I want to block based on location in the classroom. Your job is to tell me what the blocks would be. Don't say it out loud, but like block 1 would be numbers this through this. Block 2 would be numbers this through this. How would you split it up? How would you design your blocks? Remember, you want the subjects within each block to be similar. So this is a frequent AP question. So they'd give you a choice. They'd do this. So 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, and 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12. That's one of your options. Or 1 through 6 and 7 through 12. So if I wanted to block it by location, I want to make the subjects as similar as possible to each other. A or B? It's B. So this is where it gets hard. Like when I'm explaining the examples, you're like, oh, this makes sense, it's easy. But this is where it's tough. So let's say that I made these my blocks. Alright? So that's one block, and that's the other block. And then in this block, I teach this person with, because I'm going to randomly choose in this block. I teach that with technology, them with technology, them with technology. And they're old school, OS. And then at the end of the day, I compare the results, and these 3 people did way better. Do I know why? I don't know if it's because they sit in the front or because they got technology, right? So that's the point of blocking, is to not do it that way. I really wish I had like the ability to erase here, but if I make this my group, and then they get technology, 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 and we go old school, old school, old school. Now these 3 students do way better than these 3. Now do I know why? I do. I know it's because of the technology. Because they're all in the front, right? At that point. So that's the point of blocking, is the variable that matters here is location in the classroom. So instead of trying to, the 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 is trying to level the playing field. You're trying, it's not a bad way to do it, it's just not block. You're trying to get like half in the front, half in the back in each group. That's not a problem, it's just not block. Block would be, I'm not trying to level the playing field, I want two totally separate playing fields. So now I can look and say, okay, if the 3 people here with technology did better, I know exactly why, because there was no other variable involved. Does that make some sense? That's where it gets tricky. Let's look at another similar. So there's a river here. Probably should make our river blue. That would make more sense. And we've got eight plots of land. And I've got 2 types of seeds that I want to see, like, which one of these seeds grows better. Type A and type B. But would you agree that the river is a lurking variable? Like, closer to the river is probably going to react differently than further away from the river? So, I'm not going to say, don't say it out loud, but what would your blocks be? Don't say it out loud. I got 2 types of seeds. I want the subjects within each block to be as similar as possible. The subjects here are the plots. So it'd be kind of the same options here. Choice A would be 1, 2, 3, 4 are in a block. And choice B would be 1, 3, 5, 7 are in a block. Which one would you choose? B. Same idea. If I make this my block, and I do like seed type A, seed type B, seed type A, seed type B, and the A's come out better, I don't have any doubt whether it had to do with the river or not, because these all were the same proximity to the river. Does that make some sense? That's tricky. All right, take your Frappy packet out quickly. $19.97, number 2. This guy with the windows and the doors. They want you to block based on temperature. Or write that out. Okay. You said reaction. So they don't really specifically say block, but they want you to block on temperature in this example. So write out what you would do to block on temperature here. If you could circle your blocks, that'd be great. Then I can walk around and kind of get an idea of who's circling correctly. Yeah, it looks good for the most part. So again, you want the subjects within each block to be as similar as possible. I think so. I think I saw everybody circle it correctly. 1 through 4 would be one block, and then 5 through 8 would be the other block. So you put all the hot blocks in one spot, doing your own experiment there. All the cold ones the other one, doing your own experiment there. That's good. So there's my wording. You can check that as you're going at the end. Read it. Whatever helps you. Pump that you all circled the right thing though. Yeah. just copy what I put. I mean, use it to check. Write it down if it makes sense to you, but think about what you're doing too. Don't just copy down words. You do still need to randomize. So even though 1 through 4 are black, you can't just be like, oh, 1 and 2 get this, 3 and 4 get that. So you still have to put the numbers in the hat, mix it up, pull out 2 numbers. You still need to randomize somewhere. But that's one of the things in any experiment is you have to randomize. Yeah. So then you're randomizing like which tank gets which food. Yeah, like the salmon, we're not like putting the salmon in a hat, right? Like reaching out. We're doing the food. That makes sense. Questions on that one? So one more I want you to look at. 2001, number 4. We've kind of already done one similar to this, but just look at part A and decide which block makes more sense. We'll get to that third one tomorrow. What was the point of my sign? I told you to talk more, right? I told you to talk more. A or B? Hey, good. Good. Okay. You're good. You're done for today. We'll do that last one tomorrow. And we'll do the last type.